afterward, Philip/Clark going, "That was wonderful, Martha." He's in character the whole time.
Like, what the fuck is going on with FBI, with counterintelligence? You have like a small unit of like, what, 7 of them? And 2 of them are being honeypotted?
There's a lot of, I didn't realize they could show that kind of nudity on basic cable.
No, he's got a pretty convincing wig instead of glasses that he that doesn't move. And that wig does not move. I mean, she's yanking him around. The way Martha is in the sack, it can't move. It's probably glued to his fucking head. I mean, yeah.
She's getting played by him. He's so well. He knows that she wants it. And she's not going to be giving up any information until she gets what she wants.
Clark's magic penis. He got her.
That really?
Russia, I indicated, is a geopolitical foe. You know, the Cold War's been over for 20 years.
Make sure I don't do any spying around here.
No, you better not.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000.
The 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Illegals, the Americans Rewatch podcast on the Mayday Network. I am Michelle Kinney. I'm here with Julie Roginsky, retired Lieutenant Colonel Jaclyn Urso, Nina Jankowicz, and Olga Lautman. We're going to talk about episode 8, Mutually Assured Destruction. And before we get into that, I'm just going to give a little bit of background on this episode. It was directed by Bill Johnson, who has a career in directing and editing, who has worked on episodes of Ally McBeal, Shark, The Beast, Entourage, and actually won an Emmy for editing one of my favorite episodes of The West Wing, Two Cathedrals.
Have I displeased you, you feckless thug? 3.8 million new jobs, that wasn't good. 30 million new acres of land for conservation. Put Mendoza on the bench. We're not fighting a war. I've raised 3 children. Hey, Kratom, Adeo Pio, Adeo Justo, Adeo Shito.
It was written by Joel Fields and Joe Weisberg. It was seen by an estimated 1.65 million households. It aired on March 20th, 2013. And just to give you a 30,000-foot view of what was going on in the country, Sandy Hook had happened 3 months earlier, and the Senate just killed an assault weapons ban before it even got a vote. Harry Reid ended up pulling it because the Republicans threatened to tank the whole package. Cyprus was in free fall. Parliament rejected a bailout that would have taxed bank accounts to pay for it. And Russia was furious about this. Obama had landed in Israel for his first presidential visit. Saudi Arabia arrested 18 people, 16 Saudis, 1 Lebanese, and 1 Iranian for allegedly running a spy network for Tehran. Malala Yousafzai, I think I'm saying that properly, who had previously been shot by the Taliban for going to school, walked into a British classroom for the first time and said that she wanted every girl in the world to have that same chance. It was the 10th anniversary of the Iraq War, and NASA detected a meteor the size of the same one that hit Russia, and everyone was really freaked out about it. But other than that, I mean, the more things change, the more things stay the same. So this one is about Philip and Elizabeth are trying to stop an assassin hired by the KGB to take out a bunch of scientists, but they're trying to get to him before he gets to the scientists and are only, I guess, semi-successful in that, while there's all kinds of other stuff going on in the background with their marriage, their relationship, and all the things that have kind of led up to this. I know in some of the reviews, I think this wasn't everyone's favorite episode, but I think it sets up a lot of stuff maybe that's going to come in the coming seasons and episodes, which obviously we've seen it all. We're not going to give anything away, but yeah. What did you guys think?
There was a lot of hot and heaviness going on. It was
There was a lot of
smokes. It was like every scene, everybody was getting honeypotted. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to look twice to look away.
There was a lot of. I didn't realize they could show that kind of nudity on basic cable.
Well, it's a cable though, right? FX, like they could get away with more. Yeah.
I didn't think so, but apparently you can. Yeah, it was interesting, but you're absolutely right. Everybody was having sex except for the two main characters who were fighting with each other again.
Yeah.
And having the same fight again. But
it's kind of annoying, right? I mean, like that, like as a viewer, I start to feel a little frustrated about like, oh my God, like, and obviously we know the show's going to go on for several more seasons, but it's like, again, like to your point, Julie, they're having the same fight over and over again. And it's frustrating because you know that they love each other, but they're hurt and, you know, they're lying, but they're not lying. And it's like, where is this going? And it just becomes a little frustrating because I want to pay off. I
guess that's
slow burn. It's a slow burn.
Right.
Like, I guess that's the definition of a shitty marriage. If you're having the same fight over and over and over again. I mean, I don't know.
I guess.
Well, that's a staged marriage by KGB, so it's not really technically. I mean, this is their job to be married, and that's what they were sent to the United States for. I would say that every sex scene is interesting. It's because it's all basically the KGB and now the FSB and Russia's main tool in their toolbox, which is honeypots. And I mean, everyone is basically having sex for either getting information or distracting something, but there's a reason. It's not because they want to, it's because it's part of the job. And that just shows you yet again that this is, you know, one of the most commonly used tactics by Russia's security services, frankly, over the past several decades.
Yes, but I also think it was interesting how we still don't know whether from the previous week, Irina was honey, like when Granny knows and told Elizabeth that Irina had sex with Philip, is that because Irina told them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's...
is that right? Or do they have the whole room bugged? Was that a test?
In New York, Philip was with the woman we assigned him to.
I can think of 5 different reasons you'd poison our life.
Ask Philip.
I did.
You believe him? If you start to think of your marriage as real, it doesn't work. The men don't think of them that way. It was an arrangement. Do you understand that?
I feel like it was set up. I feel like Irina was told to go do that and honeypot them. I felt like in the conversation between Grandma and Elizabeth, she let out that like she set them up on purpose to make sure that they had sex to ruin Elizabeth and Philip's marriage, so that they can get back to actually doing business and not be in love with each other and then lose concentration on what the actual mission was.
And to test them. Because she said very specifically to Elizabeth that you will die for your motherland. He won't. So basically she saw the hesitation. Irina was basically there to set him up to see if he would take the bait and run away from the security services with her and drop his whole past. And the grandma or nanny or whatever basically picked up that he has that weakness and that he's not as dedicated to security services as Elizabeth is.
But if that's true, and this was like Philip's first great love, and there may be a son, there may not be a son, we don't know what the real situation is.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Philip, who must have figured out what Jaclyn just figured out, which is that this was all a setup by Irina, is not having this reaction about like, holy shit, did everything she tell me, was everything a lie? Like, is there a son? This woman who purportedly was in love with me and I was in love with 20 years ago back in Russia. Was this for real? Is this not for real? Like, where's that psychological reckoning, I guess, is my question. Like, that's the reaction that I would have.
They're KGB.
Well, but he's not. He's much more sensitive than that, right? So, like, he, as far as he has been told, has a child who is somewhere out there. And the question is, if Irina was the setup and if Irina was in on it, in order to entrap him into potentially testing whether he really was going to leave with her, whether he was really like, I don't feel like that was explored enough from his point of view, because now everything that she has told him, including the fact that he's a father to a grown son, may or may not be a lie. And like, where's that reckoning that he's having? Because I feel like his only response was, oh shit, she found out, she being Elizabeth, that I slept with Irina, but not anything beyond that, which is, oh my God. So Irina was not telling me the truth. Irina was honeypotting me. And also there's this child who may or may not exist. What part, like, I'd want to find Irina and be like, are you fucking kidding me? Where's, like, is there a kid? Is there not a kid? Is that also a lie? Like, what are you telling me here? So that's the part that I think I was a little confused about, is the reaction that I think a normal, even KGB agent with Philip's profile, everything we've known about Philip so far is that he is sensitive to these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe they'll explore it in the future, because here they didn't tackle. I mean, even the fact that Irina, the only way that Granny knew that they slept with each other is from Irina.
I think that Philip's going to explore that next episode, because Elizabeth dumped that on him at the last minute, and he was just trying to grasp for straws, trying to help, fix their marriage. So I think he'll have some time later on, some space to really kind of dive into the analysis there. But I think at the time it was just, dumped on him, and he was just trying to say anything he can to get her to forgive him for what he's done and that he lied to her.
Yeah.
Buckle man.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Nina?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not fully convinced that Irina was in on it. I think it's possible Granny had the room bugged and figured this might happen, knew their background, and wanted to use it to lord over Elizabeth. Like I wrote in my notes, Granny is evil. Because you could tell she just relished that. She was coming at it as the older friend, the mother figure, but it's oh no, I'm just going to stick the knife in and twist it around a little bit. She's an evil human being.
Elizabeth, I know there's bad blood between us, but believe it or not, I feel a camaraderie with you.
A camaraderie?
Yes.
You have a funny way of showing that.
And I felt kind of bad for Philip after all of it. I know that, he obviously cheated and is kind of a piece of shit sometimes, but I felt bad for him because there were those moments at the beginning of the episode when they were in the kitchen together, the jokes, it was really kind of beautiful and nice and very authentic, I felt. And I don't know if that was his kind of coping mechanism. You said, Julie, he hasn't been reckoning with what happened. Maybe it's because he was throwing himself headlong into trying to focus on something that he came to know in that moment that he really loved. Perhaps he had been idolizing Irina for all of those decades and then was like, you know what, I've actually got a pretty good thing going here. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think. And I think that's something that's interesting about this show as well, because it's it leaves a lot up to your imagination, your kind of own analysis and thoughts. And I think that's what kind of makes it brilliant, because there are questions unanswered throughout the whole series. And I always come to each episode thinking, what do I need to remember from last time? And actually they kind of stand on their own as these little vignettes, but there is this overarching arc that, again, we don't get every moment filled in, and as we're watching the Jennings throughout these years. And I think that's we're kind of projecting onto it in our own ways from our own backgrounds and our own personal experiences. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't love
so
this
well
episode,
said,
but
yeah.
No, that's so well said, Nina. And I you say that, and it makes me think, this is the kind of show that expects more from its audience. You know what I mean? To fill in the holes for yourself, fill in the blanks. They're not going to spoon feed you everything, which is surprising because a lot of times in the United States, shows that are smart don't always do well. But this show did really well and did so for several seasons.
we're not used to that anymore, right? Now, because of what I think we're calling the Netflix rule is like, you've always got another screen in your hand. So they need to make the plots dumb enough and simple enough that you can follow them even when you're not looking at the screen, which, by the way, I watched this episode while I was cooking dinner, and it is not easy to follow if you are looking at the screen. And we just don't have that anymore, which is
so
kind of
true.
crazy.
The one thing I thought about with the whole Irina thing is, as we're talking about this, is Elizabeth never had an honest relationship, grown adult relationship in her life, right? Like, she was raped by that guy who they killed in episode 1. I think she was a virgin when that happened. Like, there was no romantic relationship that we were told about. Whereas Philip did have the one honest, authentic relationship of his life was not with Elizabeth, because that was a setup and not a real relationship, despite how he feels about her now. But it was with Irina, ostensibly. They met at the KGB school, wherever that was, but I think that wasn't a setup. That was a real relationship. And so, there is something to be said for how he feels about all of this and how he would react. And I frankly don't remember from the first go around what comes next week. So I'm actually watching this as though I'm watching it for the first time. But the reaction that I think the Philip that we have learned about over the last 7 or 8 episodes is much more sensitive, is fundamentally, as much as a KGB killer can be, a good human being, better than she is, certainly. And the question is, if everything you know about the one honest relationship, aside from the relationship you had with your mom, is fake, how do you reconcile that to anything else? I mean, obviously he's got that kind of relationship with his kids, but that's a whole different story. And the kids in some ways are also built in a lie, right? Sure, they're his kids, but everything about the family is a lie. Whereas Irina was not a lie. And now to find out that potentially she was lying, that's something that I would love to see explored more in his kind of journey and evolution. I don't remember, to be honest, whether that actually happens. And so maybe what you said, Nina, is true, that it's left up to our own imagination. But I think from, that character flaw, I think is interesting.
I'll just add that it's interesting, and again, a very KGB thing, how Granny, who is Elizabeth's handler, how she breaks her down psychologically. This is one of the things that a handler, especially evil KGB handlers, would do, is break you down so they can take full control over you and your actions and make sure you don't stray. And here, someone just said they were twisting the knife into, Granny was twisting the knife into telling Elizabeth, but it's more so of a tactic to just psychologically break her down, break any emotion down, break any kind of feelings down, break anything down, and leave her as a shell of, again, the KGB services, and for her to follow her task without straying anywhere. And that's also a very interesting aspect, because with Granny, I mean, she really nothing. It doesn't have even 1 ounce of compassion.
Well, I want to talk really quickly also just about, or not really quickly, it's a major plot point, about the scientists. And there's a few things that kind of came to mind while this storyline is happening. Number one, there's a story in the United States right now, and it's sort of a conspiracy theory, but sort of not. But is it? And some of the families are very upset about it, but it doesn't stop Donald Trump from talking about it, that there's over a dozen scientists in the United States that have either died or disappeared in the last however many months. Whether that is just coincidence or they're just isolated incidents, I'm sure that there's some sort of explanation here, but it's hard to not think about that in the background of kind of what's going on here, and the conspiracy theory sort of world that we live in. The other piece of this is, when I was reading about the context of when this show aired in 2013, just being a matter of months after Sandy Hook. So when they go to that first guy's house that apparently sold the explosives to the KGB assassin, and his daughter comes out with a shotgun.
Who is the daughter, by the way? Did you guys clock who it is?
No.
Sadie Sink.
Who?
Can I help you?
Everything you know about.
Nice henchman. You want to go sit down, watch some TV?
Sadie Sink from Stranger Things.
Oh, I don't watch it.
I don't watch it either. I know the name.
Me either.
She's like a big deal right now. How can I be the only person? So she's the redheaded girl in Stranger Things. She's right now in London starring as Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. She's a big deal.
Oh. Well, her dad, the guy who answers the door in the blue, that's Shuler Hensley, who is a big Broadway actor. He won a Tony for playing Judd Fry in Oklahoma, who, by the way,
he's such a Judd.
Like, also, like, the greatest portrayal of Judd Fry I've ever seen in my entire life.
Get me a woman to call my own.
Like, at the end of Oklahoma, you actually, like, feel bad for Judd because
was this a production where they all played instruments around the stage?
Oh. No. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to be judgy, like about the. I missed out on that production. No, this is the one that he did with Patrick Wilson, and I think he did it on the West End as well with Hugh Jackman before that. But this was okay. I think I was in college at the time. Yeah. But he is seriously like serious actor. So it's always just funny to see all these like really serious people playing these kind of bit parts. Including the person who you say is Sadie Sink.
Sadie Sink. She's legit. She's very good in Stranger Things. Anyway, so people were pissed off that she was wielding a gun.
Well, right. Well, I don't know if people wrote about it, but it was just strange. Like seeing, I was like, wow, yeah, that's the same week that the legislation, the whole thing, and then this child comes out of nowhere, like with a shotgun. It's just, it's indicative of American culture, of like a child coming out of a random room of a house with a shotgun and knowing how to use it. So it's, it's those things are, and also the guy who plays the assassin is in that show This Is Us and stuff. So he's kind of like a big to do now as well. But anyways,
fascinating character. I kind of was bummed that they killed him.
Yeah, that was like very gory. Also,
I wasn't so into. I wasn't so into the storyline particularly, but I thought the East German assassin or whatever he was supposed to be was kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that that looked like there was a fracture inside the KGB because at the time it was Khrushchev who was head of KGB, and the fact that one unit ordered an assassination of U.S. scientists and another unit went and crossed over the other unit to try to stop the assassination of scientists, not to start this mutually destructive war with the U.S. It was interesting because, clearly there was some kind of either crossed wires or some kind of internal stress within the KGB for that to happen. And the fact that, Granny apparently was on the faction of the KGB units that which would have been counterintelligence, basically saying no, make sure you stop this assassin before he kills any scientists.
I guess the warring factions kind of answers my question, which is why they wouldn't have had a password when they went in there to say, like, we are from the people and you're supposed to call off the mission now, rather than pointing guns at each other. Like, it seemed like a needless loss of life. There's a lot of that in the show, obviously. But also, like, couldn't they have just been like, bananagram, and that is the password that they need to call the thing off? Like, you'd think they would have had that, but if they're warring factions, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It feels like they took the plot line when there was a coup attempt against Gorbachev, and Khrushchev and his faction, the hardliners, tried to put him under house arrest and to take him out, and then you had the other faction that's like, nope, not happening. So it feels like, even though the show's the early 80s, because Khrushchev had things under control. And interestingly enough, he did a memo in 83, basically expanding recruitment, because at the beginning it was recruitment of scientists and military, CIA, FBI, tech people. And then he expanded it to business people, anyone influential, which kind of leads to how Trump, fell into the eyes of the Soviet mission in UN with this expansion of targets that could happen. So that I found interesting. It felt like, that they took the later 80s plot of the warring factions and put it back to that time.
This is bringing it to present day, but did you guys see the news that Putin is worried about a coup or assassination attempt?
Yeah.
Big story that he is. I mean, he's always been pretty paranoid. Now he has retreated even further into his bunker, doing most appearances by video because he is worried either of an internal coup attempt or assassination attempt, or worried about the Ukrainians who have been continually picking off members of the Russian government and security services coming after him. So pretty interesting time.
No.
I don't know how much I buy it, because I've seen this game played by the FSB forever, where they put this out to set out a net to see who will, attempt to rise up. And it kind of reminds me of, I actually wrote an article for SIPA, The Many Deaths of Vladimir Putin, and how FSB since the early 2000s, particularly before invasions and domestic things, and then before the 2008 invasion of Georgia, the 2013 invasion of Ukraine, and then the 2020 election, and then again 2022 full-scale invasion, they put out all these rumors that he's dying.
I was going to ask
you
about
even had,
that.
Yeah, that is 100% bullshit. The account that was spreading it on Telegram, SVR General, is a security services account that spins fabrications and fantasies. But that's why it was getting so out of control that I told SIPA, my think tank, I need to write an article because this is just getting out of control. And I mean, I can't tell you, there had to be probably 15 instances between cancer and he's dying within weeks.
Right. Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, anything and everything you could think of. He had even some kind of bubonic plague or something. Everything and anything you could think of, he had. And again, it always happened before major moves, either domestic crackdowns or invasions, in order to kind of, tempt down the people domestically and say twofold, to tempt them down, Putin's dying, so we don't need to do anything. And also at the same time to lay out, to see if there's any movement. And if any oligarchs are moving, if any security service units are moving to, position themselves in a potential coup. And that's it. So I'm cautious with this. It would be wonderful.
This one did come from European intel, right? So, I mean, it's a little more credence than a rumor, but I agree. I mean, all this stuff is cautious. He's always been paranoid. Getting more paranoid. Good stuffer. Anyway, should we talk about the episode now?
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, I just want to say one thing, not to give this any oxygen, and also not to go down this rabbit hole, because that's not what the show's about. But there's a Russian Substacker who said, apparently the other day, I saw in one of the chats in one of our shows, said that Putin, it wasn't really him in Alaska, it was his body or something. I'm like,
that's another one with the body doubles.
I'm like, people
he has
pay
17.
for this person's Substack. I'm like, I don't understand. But it's just, there's so much. I guess my point being is there's a lot of crazy shit out there, and it's I think most of it's unbelievable.
I'm loving.
That's actually a Soviet thing. That's a Soviet thing to prevent assassinations, where they would put out that leaders had doubles in order for people not to attempt, because in the Soviet Union you had one shot to kill someone, and if you happen to take out a double, your days are finished. So that used to be their tactic, to put out rumors that there are doubles of Politburo members and officials and leaders and whatnot. I don't know. The whole thing is absolutely absurd. And my only thing to wrap this up, you could take a taxi driver from Rostov and put him in the position of president, and it will be the same thing. This is not Putin. Putin didn't create the state. The state created people like Putin and Stalin and Brezhnev and whatever. So you could remove Putin. There'll be a temporary disruption like in the 90s. They blow each other up, fighting for state resources, but then it will go back to the same repression. This is the same thing that's happened for hundreds of years, and nothing will change in our lifetime, sadly.
I hope you're wrong about that, but we'll see. To go back to the show, though, to Nina's point, I didn't think this was like my favorite episode, because I thought this whole internal KGB fight was kind of weird and came out of nowhere. And also, from my perspective, how did they know who to answer to? I guess they've just been told by Zhukov that they have to answer to Granny no matter what, right? How do they know that Granny's giving them, they have no faith in Granny. They have no guarantees that Granny is loyal to them. Why would they not doubt their instructions?
I feel like she's also getting instructions from the Morse code.
Yeah, the Morse code. Who's sending that? Because that's coming from overseas. That's not Granny.
Wasn't that Zhukov? But why?
I guess we don't know. It's the center. I thought it was interesting, though. I need to reconfirm this, but did you guys catch how she's decoding and her Morse code is in the Russian is in Cyrillic? I was like, she wouldn't have had that. It would have been translated into English. It's such bullshit. Like, oh, let me just have this Russian alphabet thing. Like, sorry, here we are again. Here's the list of things that was wrong with the episode. But I was just like,
that's how that's what the mistake Hansen made in 79.
We're a unique panel of experts here, and we have our own gripes that the average person might not have. Okay, and all right. Think about things that are all over the place. So the science thing, and then the KGB thing, and all this, and then on top of it, to bring up what Jaclyn said at the beginning of this, is like everybody's getting it on. Everyone kind of hates each other / is getting it on. That dinner scene with the Beemans and the Jennings. Painful.
Truly fantastic. What is the secret?
Horseradish, right?
Oh, you cook, Phil?
He watches.
I can relate to that. It's got a real nice kick to it.
You don't usually like things too spicy, Stan.
I don't. I guess I do.
But then Martha and Clark are like getting it on, and I thought it was also interesting. First of all,
honeypot of FBI.
I mean, uncomfortable every single time they're on screen together. Not because, and I think it's like, that's a testament to like how great they are, because, we're supposed to feel bad, and we're supposed to feel bad for Martha because the whole thing is just real sad times. But I did notice though, and I guess what year is this supposed to be? 82?
I think 82.
No? 82 now?
81, 82, yes.
Yeah, and so she asks, not that condoms like didn't exist before the 80s, but like she asked for, do you have protection? And he's like, oh, I didn't want to be presumptuous, always being like very aw shucks. But like I was thinking, the first case of AIDS in the United States was June of 1981. And so it was like, that's kind of immediately where my mind went to. And then also, I was like, would that have been something that a straight couple wouldn't have even been thinking about that?
AIDS wasn't, sadly, I remember this so well because I was 13 in 1985 when AIDS suddenly exploded into people's consciousness.
Yeah.
And I was 12. Sorry, I was 12. And I was like, oh my God, I will.
Yeah. We're all going to get it. We're all going to die.
I better never, like they really convinced you that you should just never ever have sex because.
Oh, trust me. In 1990, when the Magic Johnson thing happened, I was in 4th grade, and it was like, if you have sex, you are going to get AIDS and you are going to die. And like, that's just what sex ed was for most of my generation. But
that's my point. Like in 1981, I don't even know protection would be, she'd be on the pill. Like protection wasn't even a thing, I think, for men.
Yeah. Well, unless you're trying to like not get the clap or something. I don't know. But she reaches over and she's got this like gold condom, and she's like, these were my ex-boyfriends. He was a jerk. So I guess she means Amador?
Do you have any protection?
No, I didn't want to presume this was...
For my last boyfriend. He was a jerk.
Well, then he didn't deserve you.
It's Amador. I think that was like a Chekhov's gun situation.
Yeah.
It's just a plot point. My favorite thing about that scene is afterward, Philip / Clark going, "That was wonderful, Martha." He's in character the whole time.
That was wonderful, Martha.
Oh, ditto.
It's nice to feel close to someone. It's been a while. I really needed this.
Oh, that was wonderful.
My thoughts of this was like, what the fuck is going on with FBI, with counterintelligence? You have like a small unit of like, what, 7 of them? And 2 of them are being honeypotted. And I'm like, what are they doing? And how are they not, like more careful with who they bring in, especially during, I mean, this is the Cold War. This is at the height of the Cold War, the height of the spy wars between 81 to like 87. And 2 out of that small DC counterintelligence unit, 2 of them are being honeypotted. And then the boss apparently is giving an apartment or a safe house. He, whatever his name is, Philip. No, what's his name?
Stan. So he can have conjugal visits.
So he can continue being honeypotted. I'm like,
it's an apartment near Eastern Market, a studio with a back entrance off an alley. It's time you and your source started having your meetings in a safe house. It's not a car, but don't wreck it.
What kind of boss is this?
That's my question. Like, are we really supposed to believe that Stan Beeman got to this very unique role in the FBI and is dumb enough to just suddenly start having sex with somebody who works for the Russian government and is like, oh, and take her at her word when she's like, by the way, without giving anything away about her trajectory. But I think the rational belief, if you're Stan Beeman, would be that this woman is not to be trusted. Like, he was running her and now she's running him.
Yeah. And she even says, I sometimes wonder if you Americans understand spies.
You're cops. Sometimes I wonder if you understand spies. Do you want to put them in jail? It's how policemen think, not how spies think. We want everyone to stay and bleed everything they know out of them.
Because she asks, what his cop mentality and all of that. And then even like has this moment, he kind of does a double take where she's like, I'll do anything for you, whatever. And he was like, wait a second, you're not just doing this to like get whatever it is that you want, right?
But
like,
did you hear her non-answer? It was, I'm exactly where I want to be.
I have to feel like they've got enough to make it worth.
I do everything for you. I'm trying my best.
You're not here because...
I'm here because this is where I want to be.
Which is not, I'm here because I love you. I'm here because I want to, I'm like, even not even here.
I want to be there.
I'm exactly where I want to be. I just got a promotion and you're going to keep me safe and get me the fuck out of here when I need to go.
Right.
But if you're Stan, like, what are you doing this for? Other than you just want like
men, y'all, men.
I get it.
So in addition to the like hot and
magic poon
theme of this episode, it's like it's people making terrible choices in the heat of the moment, right? Like over and
mutually
over again.
assured destruction.
Yeah, because the KGB obviously can easily, maybe they will know, maybe they do know already. I mean, they can hold this over Stan's head to ruin his marriage. I mean, like he, and the FBI would never, ever, like the, Western security services, they don't have honeypots. They don't, run these units to like screw people for information. That's mainly the Russians do this. I know of the Russians. I don't know any other agencies. But the fact that he would get suckered into that and put in a position, his marriage is already weak. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just his marriage is weak. His wife is pushing him and, like you're never home, you're this, you're that. And he just, got drunk and found that as an escape route.
Yeah. I mean, even at that, I just like that dinner with the Beemans, again, within the Jennings, and like everyone hates each other. Even Paige is trying to help to clean up. And she's like, are you finished? And Matthew's like, what does it look like? I was like, what is up with everyone? I was like, everyone needs to pull everyone's stick out of their ass. And he's like, oh, sorry.
Finished?
What do you think?
I don't know. I was just asking. didn't know if
No,
you
I'm
wanted.
done.
Okay.
But I'm like, everyone is so cranky, which I guess is like the point. But, you know, and Matthew's obviously upset because, you know, his dad's never around and they're having this, you know, awkward dinner with the neighbors. But, yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing too.
Weird.
It is weird, but, and this is where I also like go back the whole premise of why the creators of the show, they wanted to make the show a show about marriage before anything else, which I think it is. And I think like that's the thing about that dinner scene also, that I was like, you know, we're dealing with these extraordinary circumstances with these like extraordinary people, like spies, FBI agent, you know, this FBI agent sleeping with a spy, and these spies are sleeping with the FBI secretary. Like there's all this crazy stuff's going on. But at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of quote unquote Americans sitting at a dinner table, like being all pissed off at each other, which is just kind of like how we live our lives anyways.
And it's fascinating how Clark, in his new role, how quick he got her to take documents out. Like she didn't even think twice
Heat of the
to go
moment,
to
she's
like.
hip.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell? And the thing is that they portray her characters like she's the one who has control of the situation. And little does she know, she like has no control, because even though sexually she has, you know, control over him and feels like she's the powerful one, because she initiates it. At the same time, is it what, like one time and she's already in the Xerox? Is that what it used to be called? Xerox machine making photocopies of.
That's all suspicious foreign nationals who've come through East Coast immigration in the past week.
This is just what I needed, Martha.
That's great, honey.
You know, classified FBI information and bringing it to him before they even go a second time around.
He's got her hanging.
Clark's magic penis. He got her.
That really.
He's got her hanging from a thread. I mean, she is just.
Yeah.
She's getting played by him. He's so well. He knows that she wants it, and she's not going to be giving up any of the information until she gets what she wants. And so he just plays right into it. You know, just right into it. It's just like so obvious that he's
so
just
sad.
like playing it up, that he really likes her and she's getting everything that she wants. It's just like, it can't be that easy. Is it really that easy? Like, I don't know.
Well, then it's like, Martha, that was wonderful to what like Nina was saying.
You're a very kind person, Martha.
Okay.
But the thing that's so like that the aw shucks about how he gets what he wants from her is like pretending he doesn't want. Oh, I wouldn't want to be presumptuous, or no, I could never ask.
He plays
for
her
that. so well, and it's like, oh God, it's so.
And to
painful.
Nina's point, if we're going to talk about household things that never would happen in the real world, before he would approach her, the KGB would have profiled her. They would have known every single person over the past 6 months who walked in and out of her house. They would have known that FBI guy, Amador, was her ex-boyfriend. And they would not put an illegal in a position to go and sleep with her, because there are plenty of KGB spies running around the United States then, to sleep and bust, their cover. Because this is deep cover. This isn't just, an agent roaming around in like the Soviet mission. And here you saw at the end, Amador is there. I mean, it takes, 2-3 coincidental things where Stan is having a dinner or grabbing coffee or something, and they end up bumping into each other, and him saying like, wait a minute, I just saw you at Martha's house. Like, what are you doing? So that whole thing also doesn't make sense. Like, they would have known
I don't know.
that
He's got a pretty convincing wig and set of glasses that he
and it doesn't move, and that wig does not move. I mean,
I
she's
know.
yanking him
I mean,
around.
the way Martha is in the sack, it can't move. It's probably
Right.
glued to his fucking head.
I mean-
Jesus Christ.
What about Elizabeth's wig? She puts it on. I'm like, is that really supposed to make you look different? It doesn't change anything.
Oh, I'm obsessed with the disguises. They're so
Well, the wigs.
I love the wigs, man.
Do you think that Martha's going to put 2 and 2 together and realize that after she gave Clark all of that information, that shortly thereafter, the guy gets killed? Do you think she's going to figure it out?
I think that went through her head. I don't know, because they're standing there in the office after Agent Gadd gives another drama club award speech.
This administration is not going to let this happen. This will not stand.
I'm going to get them. Or whatever it is he said. I'm just always like,
terrible.
oh my God.
Is it the writing or is it him? I think it's him.
It's
First of all, there are fewer people working in this FBI than there are like in an episode of like SVU, a Law and Order. it's like the entire United States counterintelligence domestic FBI is like run by like John Boy from the Waltons and
and my former next door neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was one of the extras.
Well, don't forget, we had New York counterintelligence with Hansen in real life being co-opted while he was working in counterintelligence during the 80s. So we had that unit that was compromised.
When the explosion happens and they drive away, not the explosion, when they kill the agent and they walk out of the hotel and they get in the car with the Maryland plates and drive away, they drive right past the New York City bus stop.
No, they do? I missed that. I'm going to have to go back and
oh my God.
I was like, come on, nobody here bothered to edit that part out. I was like,
it's like the M7 or whatever.
Yeah, like literally the polls with like the New York stores, like the M7 thing. All right, Brooklyn, got it. Okay, or wherever this was, but yeah.
Oh God, that's so funny. Yeah. I will say too that and maybe this is just. No, I feel like I haven't noticed any good music. And I know we talked about it in the first episode, the Tusk, obviously. And there's a lot of great music in the pilot. Harden My Heart. I mean, like really, really like bangers. And In the Air Tonight. And they're really, I don't know if they just blew their whole budget on the pilot for the music licensing and just had to wait a little while. But there was like the Cure. There's a song by the Cure that plays at the end of the episode. There's another one before Martha and Clark get it on. Let's see it. Pablo Cruz song.
I'd like to erase that from my memory.
Samesies. But I hope that this also means, and again, like I haven't watched these episodes in so long, like I have a general idea of what happens, but the details are fuzzy, and I'm like, oh, is the music going to start getting good? Like it has to, because I know that the music on the show is so good. Yeah. So hopefully this is, they're getting money to be able to license the good stuff. And not just the ominous tones of the or orchestrator, or whoever's writing the score for the episode. So I was glad to have some cool music.
Hey, well, I binge watched it years ago, several seasons, like over like 3 or 4 days. And I swear to God, I feel like like a computer disk, like someone wrote over it and I don't remember a thing. And I'm watching it now and I'm like, oh, this is like, I don't even remember what happens. So for me, this is like watching it all over again. Like
that's how I feel
for
with
the
Homeland.
first time.
Yeah, Homeland. I remember binging that. I guess around the same period, like around the same time period. Another thing I just want, and maybe I'll edit this back into the other part of the conversation, but another thing with that Clark says, and I'm looking at my notes here. Martha tries to rip not the wig off of him, obviously, but tries to rip his glasses off. Yeah, and he goes, I can't see them without my glasses, and then I can't see you. And it's just
I can't see a thing without my glasses, and I need to see you.
So corny.
I can't see a thing without them, and I need to see you.
And again, the glasses, like, I mean, what happened to real disguises? Like that glasses and that weird wig, like... You're not going to realize
it would make him too recognizable, I guess, without them. But like, I don't know, ladies, if you're going to bed with somebody and he says he can't take his glasses off, red flag.
I was gonna say, you might want to consider who the hell keeps their glasses. Well, I shouldn't judge. If anybody watching this goes to bed this night and keeps their glasses
Let's
on.
not yuck their yum, Julie.
He's young, but he may be a KGB agent. Just
Yeah, they could be.
And
I mean,
really
here's the thing.
Pull extra hard on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like these are for some pretty goofy glasses. I mean, I like them; they're big, but like I look the same, and
I never recognize you, Michelle.
Yeah,
I know.
Different person.
That's why I laugh. Like she puts on like a black wig, and it's like, oh look, it's not me anymore. No, you can't tell I'm Elizabeth. And I'm like,
I'm totally
is this a joke?
I'm totally showing up our next podcast here wearing like a wig of some sort. You guys will never know it's me.
Nope. Prosthetics. Actually,
I had my color. I had my color in so many colors, like my hair in so many colors over the decades. And people still knew it was me.
Yeah.
Like I had strawberry blonde, black, brown. And no one was like, who are you? I've never met you before.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe you didn't have the great disguises that Elizabeth has. That's the
truly.
Guys, I think we've kill this episode to death.
But here's the we love the show. That's the thing. We love the show, but like I didn't realize, and I don't know, is it just me? Maybe the first season just takes a little bit to kind of get off the ground in some ways, because they're establishing so much of the dynamics and so much of the plot and so much of the characters that it's just taking a minute to really kind of get to the meat.
Well, and I think the later seasons are ones that have longer arcs in terms of like the family and things that are happening, and these are just like spy adventure plus sex and wigs. I think you're right. It's coming in season 2.
I'll just say overall, though, I mean, not picking on the tactics being awfully wrong, but overall, scientists were targeted, and for anyone who's interested in Russia, I mean, literally, this is a monthly occurrence. Another scientist ends up dead, falls out a window. The whole hypersonic missile department was arrested 2 years ago for treason. One died in pre-detention center. All the scientists were arrested for treason for selling information to the Chinese, out of all places, which is interesting. So, I mean, in Russia, this is a very typical tactic. I mean, they remove their scientists constantly, and the Soviets did the same once you finished your project and built what you were supposed to, whether it was the weapons program, the bioweapons, chemical weapons, or missile program. You ended up like you could say bye-bye to life. So that part of them targeting scientists is, accurate.
I feel like with all the TNA and all the explosions, that it kind of like preludes to the mutually assured destruction of the relationships within the characters. Elizabeth and Philip kind of having this mutual destruction if they don't get along. I mean, at one point he drops the bomb like, well, we could just get separated. I mean, they just do that nowadays.
Yeah, this is a modern country. People get divorced all the time, right?
And the relationship between, Elizabeth and Grandma is kind of a mutually assured destruction, in that they have to work with each other, or else they're not going to be able to accomplish the bigger mission of serving the motherland. And then you've got Stan and Nina, and they're escalating mutual destruction with each other and their relationship, and how is that going to play out? So I feel like I feel like this was kind of a prelude to the eventual mutual destruction potentialities.
It's like a powder keg. Yeah, it feels like a powder keg in a lot of ways.
With lots of paranoia. And that's the one thing. There's a paranoia. The Americans think that, the Soviets are up to something, or right away suspect that the Soviets are behind something, and vice versa. So there was a lot of paranoia, and frankly, and everything that looks real is not real in the spy world. So that is what it's sad, because I don't think anyone who works for intelligence services could ever be well adjusted from that, because you could see these relationships no one knows. I mean, the fact that we don't even know if Philip has a son, and is that a lie or not? Like everything, you don't know what is real and what is not real.
Yep. Yeah. You know what's real and not real. Again, the Russian that they speak on the show and the Chiron underneath have nothing to do with each other. That's real.
Yeah, Arcady, is that how you say his name? Arcady?
Arcady.
Yeah.
Arcady and Nina were saying nothing to each other that you read on screen. I mean, the gist was ish kind of there, but not necessarily.
I don't think she just got a promotion because she's doing well and she's performing at a high standard. Like, he did that on purpose so that she can be closer to him, so that he can monitor her more.
Keep your enemies closer. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
It's all very nerve-wracking.
But also, she just walks around and goes down an alley in Eastern Market or wherever this restaurant or this safe house is supposed to be. And if she's being followed, like, she just suddenly disappears and nobody from the KGB, from the Residentura, is like asking like where she went, what she did. Like, if somebody is that much under surveillance, if she's that paranoid about being busted, she's kind of walking around, slipping into dark alleys and disappearing for hours on end.
It's shocking. She does it without a wig.
Yeah, without a wig.
Which great hair. Great hair, by the way.
You would think she would put glasses on and a wig to change her complete, disguise.
And I like, obviously the early 80s kind of fashion and hairdos is kind of carried over from the late 70s, and it doesn't start to get real wackadoo until the mid to late 80s with all the spray. But she really rocks the early 80s hair. Like, it's very, I'm like, ooh, that like looks good. It's kind of got the 40s to 80s inspiration there, and I think it looks very good. But the other thing I was going to say too is just Matthew Rhys, who we love, who we love.
It was just on CNN.
Well, he's got a new show coming out on Apple TV called Widow's Bay. And I just want to say, if anybody knows him, please tell him to stop making scary shows, because I can't watch another scary show. I love Matthew Rhys. I'll watch him read a phone book, but I can't do this again. I just watched the Robert Durst one where he plays a serial killer. And now he's doing something scary in some like Cabot Cove looking Murder, She Wrote something or other. I can't, like, it looks scary and I can't do it. But he is lovely in The Americans. And I have been watching a lot of his interviews that he's been doing, a lot of press. And, one of the first
We've been
things,
watching him ride horses too, haven't we, Mikhail?
I know. I was like, I think I sent it to you, Nina. I was like, is this man trying to kill me? But yeah, just riding horses like a Welshman would never do.
At a rodeo for some reason.
At a rodeo. Very surprising. But I will say that one of the first things that people say, and I saw Seth Meyers say this, and a couple other people are like, oh, The Americans. The Americans was one of my favorite shows. I loved The Americans. And I feel like, he's a very talented guy. He'll do lots of things in his life. But The Americans is one of those things that I think kind of sears in people's minds and memories. And there's a reason for that. It's such a good show.
Carrie Russell's got The Diplomat now, which is also really good.
I haven't watched it. Is it good?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes. That's going to be back for season 3, I think, in the next.
She's so pretty.
I binge it. I just sit and watch the whole series all at once.
She's so talented. She's so talented and so pretty. Like, she's, jackpot for him, both of them, It really just quite, honestly.
All right, you guys.
On that note.
Yeah, it's good with all of you. We will see you back here next week for episode 10.
Yeah.
10?
9.
9. Episode 9, excuse me, for episode 9.
Yeah.
Season 1, episode 9. All right, everybody. See you later. Bye.
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 You are listening to the Mayday Network.